You know what the best place is for millionaires to hide their money? It's not in a Swiss bank account. And if it were up to me, I wouldn't even put my money in a bank account either. So stick around because I am going to show you where the rich actually hide their money and why they do it. I just want to say that this video is for educational purposes only, and nothing in this video should be construed as financial advice. The main reason millionaires use offshore accounts is to avoid taxes. Now the reality is, everyone should be paying their fair share of taxes, and I believe everyone should. But there are many loopholes in the tax code that the wealthy use every day to legally reduce their taxes. I mean, I saw one study that showed that the top 1% of earners don't pay any federal income taxes at all. So let's look at what the rich are doing to avoid paying taxes. First, it is important to know that there are millions of millionaires in the world. And not all of them are evil rich people who exploit others or have ill-gotten gains. In fact, many of them are entrepreneurs and business owners who created something of value that people want and are willing to pay for. But whether you like the rich or not, it's important to understand how they think so you can protect yourself from them. And also understanding how the rich think will help you get ahead financially. The wealthy think globally, while the poor and middle class think locally. The poor think they will never leave their town or country, so they make their decisions based on where they live. The middle class has a bit more money, so they might be able to move to a different city or state if they really want to. So they too make their decisions based on where they live. But the rich, well, they think globally because they have enough money to move anywhere. So when making a decision, they ask themselves, where can I go to get the best outcome possible? They want to see the world because they know there are better places to live than where they currently are. And when it comes to taxes, the rich know they have options. So, when you are dealing with someone who is rich, it's important to keep this in mind. If you're trying to get them to pay more in taxes, they will likely find a way around it. But if you are working for them, they will expect you to give them the best service possible for the lowest price. And if you don't, they will fire you and hire someone else. So, if you work for a rich person, always remember, you are just an employee. So if you want to keep your job and keep getting paid, you need to give them the best value possible. But now, let's answer the question, where do millionaires hide their money? Well, the first place is in countries with no or low taxes. Now there are some countries in the world that don't charge taxes on worldwide income. So if you make $1 million a year living in one of these countries, you won't owe any taxes on that income. And the countries are as follows: Andorra, Antigua and Barbuda, Argentina, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Barbados, Belize, Cambodia, Cayman Islands, Chile, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Cyprus, Dominica, El Salvador, Equatorial Guinea, Estonia, Fiji, Georgia, Grenada, Guatemala, Guinea, Honduras, Hungary, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Jamaica, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Kiribati, Kosovo, Latvia, Lebanon, Lesotho, Liberia, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Macau, Malaysia, Maldives, Malta, Mexico, Monaco, Montenegro, Moravia, Mozambique, Namibia, Nauru, Nepal, Netherlands, Nicaragua, Nigeria, North Korea, Oman, Pakistan, Pala, Panama, Papua New Guinea, Paraguay, Peru, Philippines, Qatar, Romania, Russia, Rwanda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Samoa, San Marino, Sao Tome and Principe, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Serbia, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, Solomon Islands, South Africa, Spain, Sri Lanka, Sudan, Switzerland, Thailand, Timor-Leste, Tonga, Trinidad and Tobago, Tunisia, Turkey, Turkmenistan, Tuvalu, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, Vanuatu, Vatican City, and Zambia. So if you're looking to hide your money, any of these countries would do the trick. But you might be thinking, hey, why does this list include countries like the UK and the US? Well, those countries have territorial tax systems, which means they only tax income earned within their borders. So if you live in the UK and make money from investments outside the country, you won't owe any taxes on that income. If you live in the US and make money from investments outside the country, you won't owe any taxes on that income either. The UK and the US can tax you on certain types of foreign income. So if you make money from certain investments outside the country, they may still be able to tax you on that income. So if you're looking to hide your money, you might want to consider a country that doesn't have a tax treaty with the UK or the US, but there is another option besides moving to a country with no taxes. The second way millionaires hide their money is by investing in assets that are not taxed. One example is fine art. Now, fine art has historically been a good investment, and the rich buy fine art not only because they love it, but also because they can deduct the purchase price from their taxes. They can write off that entire amount against their income. Now, this can be a great way to reduce your taxes, but it's important to keep in mind that you can only deduct the cost basis of the painting. So if you bought the painting for less than $1 million, but if you bought it for more than $1 million, you would only be able to deduct $1 million from your taxes. Another way the rich hide their money is by investing in collectibles such as coins and stamps. Again, these items can be great investments, and the rich often buy them not only because they love them, but also because they can deduct the purchase price from their taxes. Just like with fine art, you can only deduct the cost basis of the collectibles. You can write off that entire amount against your income. You would only be able to deduct $1 million from your taxes. Now, another way the rich hide their money is by investing in intellectual property such as patents and trademarks. The wealthy know that these assets can be incredibly valuable, and they often buy them not only because they can use them in their businesses, but also because they can deduct the purchase price from their taxes. But the same rules apply. You can only deduct the cost basis of the IP. So if you bought the patent for less than $1 million, you can write off that entire amount against your income. But if you bought it for more than $1 million, you would only be able to deduct $1 million from your taxes. Another way the rich hide their money is by setting up offshore corporations. Now, there are some advantages to setting up an offshore corporation. For example, they can be used to reduce taxes. But it's important to keep in mind that they are not a magic bullet when it comes to tax planning. And the wealthy know this, which is why they often set up offshore corporations in addition to other tax planning strategies. Finally, the last way the rich hide their money is by keeping cash on hand. It might seem counterintuitive, but the wealthy often keep a lot of cash on hand because they know that cash is king. If something goes wrong, they know they can use cash to bail them out. And the same is true for businesses. Businesses often keep a lot of cash on hand because they know that cash is king. If something goes wrong, they know they can use cash to bail them out. So if you are dealing with the rich, it's important to keep these things in mind. They will always be looking for ways to reduce their taxes, and they will always have cash on hand. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video on how to become a millionaire. Thanks for watching.